You were taught that honesty is common, that lie is exactly why you're controlled. You think you can feel when someone's lying. You can't. You think your good intentions make you safe. They make you predictable. And predictable people get managed, used, redirected, rewritten in real time. Right now, someone in your life has already tested how blind you are. A coworker, a friend, a partner, a family member, an authority figure. They didn't need to destroy you. They just needed to shape you. And you let them because you confuse being nice with being untouchable. Here's the trap nobody sees. Liars don't win because they're smarter. They win because you're trained to look for the wrong signs. This isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming accurate. Because perception is power. And the person who controls perception controls the room. This comes from Machiavelli's The Prince and Modern Psychology. One teaches you how power actually moves. The other explains why you keep falling for the same games. You're about to learn principles that turn you from easy to read into dangerous to test, numbered, simple, uncomfortable, and each one gets darker because the truth does. Type, I choose strategic strength in the comments. Not for me, for you. If you can't say it publicly, you're not ready to live it privately. Most lies don't sound false. They sound familiar. Brutal truth. You don't believe what's true. You believe what matches your identity. Machiavelli understood this. People don't follow reality, people follow appearance. He warned that men judge more with their eyes than their hands. Meaning, what looks right wins, even when it's wrong. Psychological truth. The brain is lazy. It doesn't verify. It recognizes .so liars don't create new stories. They steal old ones, your values, your fears, your hopes, and mirror them back. Real life example. Your coworker says, I'm just trying to keep the team aligned. It sounds responsible, mature, cooperative. But what they're really doing is positioning themselves as the interpreter of reality. If you disagree, you become saline. And now your position looks unstable. Strategic rule. Never evaluate a statement by how good it sounds. Evaluate it by what it forces you to do next. And this is where most people destroy themselves. They argue the facts, but the liar isn't playing facts. They're playing frame. Here's a line to remember. If it flatters your identity, it's probably a hook. Comment, I see the game now. If you've been manipulated by something that sounded reasonable. The biggest tell isn't nervousness, it's control. Brutal claim. The most dangerous liar is calm, because calm is not innocence. It's practice. Machiavellian insight. The prince doesn't survive by being pure. He survives by being controlled. Machiavelli admired the ruler who can appear one way while being another, because stability depends on managing perception. Psychological truth. People think lying creates anxiety. No, lying creates anxiety in amateurs. In professionals, lying creates direction. They don't fear exposure. They pre-build exits. Real life example. You confront someone. Did you say that about me? They don't deny. They don't confirm. They slow their voice. They soften their face. They say, concerned about where this is coming from. What's what happened? You didn't get an answer. You got redirected into explaining yourself. Now you're on trial for asking a question. Strategic rule. When you ask a yes or no question, anyone who answers with a process is hiding something. Ray Hook. Listen carefully, this decides your future. If you let someone answer around you, they learn you're easy to steer. Quotable line. Truth is direct. Manipulation is procedural. Predictability is weakness, and liars feed on it. Brutal claim. If someone can predict your reaction, they can manufacture your reality. Machiavellian insight. Machiavelli doesn't teach goodness. He teaches survival. He implies that being readable is being controllable. If people know exactly how you respond, they can plan their betrayal safely. Psychological truth. Liars run patterns, but they can only run patterns if you run patterns too. If you always forgive quickly, explain too much, try to keep peace, avoid conflict, then a liar doesn't need to fear you. They just need to wait you out. Real life example. A friend borrows money. I'll pay you next week. Next week becomes soon. Soon becomes I've been stressed. Then comes the moral blackmail. I didn't think you'd be like this. And because you're predictable, you do what you always do. You soften, you doubt yourself, you accept the delay. Now, the lie has a home. Strategic rule. Change your response pattern once, and watch who panics. This next part separates the weak from the powerful. Not how you detect lies, how you punish them. Quotable line. People respect boundaries they can't negotiate. Type, I don't reward patterns in the comments if you're done being someone's routine. The lie is usually not the words. It's the timeline. Brutal claim. The more someone controls time, the more they control you. Machiavellian insight. A ruler survives by controlling events and pacing, knowing when to strike, when to delay, when to let emotions cool. Machiavelli respected timing because timing controls perception. Psychological truth. Liars rarely say, that didn't happen. They say, that's not what happened. Yet, they move the truth into the future until you stop chasing it. Real life example. Partner violates trust. You ask for clarity. They say, can we talk about this later? I can't handle it right now. Later becomes days. Days becomes, why are you still stuck on this? Now, the betrayal is old news, and your memory is treated like an illness. Strategic rule. If it matters, it gets handled now. If it gets delayed, it's being managed. Here's the trap nobody sees. The liar isn't trying to convince you of innocence. They're trying to exhaust your pursuit. Quotable line. Delay is a weapon disguised as calm. Goodness without boundaries is not virtue. It's permission. Brutal claim. Your compassion is not impressive. It's exploitable. Machiavellian insight. Machiavelli's world is simple. Men are ungrateful, fickle, and self-serving when it benefits them. He doesn't say this because he hates humanity. He says it because he's not surprised by it. Psychological truth. When you keep giving people access after they violate you, you teach them a rule. I can do it again. And the second rule, I don't even need to respect you to keep you. Real life example. Your boss takes credit. You don't want drama. You keep working. Then they do it again bigger because now it's safe. Strategic rule. The first lie gets addressed. The second lie gets punished. The third lie gets exiled. And this is where most people destroy themselves. They wait until the betrayal is huge, but small betrayals are the training ground. Quotable line. Kindness without consequence is collaboration. Comment, I don't confuse kindness with weakness if that hit too close. Lies aren't always meant to be believed. They're meant to test you. Brutal claim. Sometimes they lie to see if you're the type who notices and stays quiet. Machiavellian insight. Power is the art of testing loyalty. Machiavelli understood that people reveal themselves when pressure is applied. A prince learns who is safe by watching who flinches. Psychological truth. The liar watches your eyes, your pause, your posture. They're not just speaking, they're collecting data. Real life example. Someone tells you a story with an obvious inconsistency. They add a detail that contradicts a previous detail. You notice. They notice you notice. Now, there's a silent moment. If you let it pass, you just announce, I will accept confusion to avoid confrontation. Strategic rule. When you detect a crack, don't accuse. Pin it. Say, repeat that part. Say, what was the order of events? Say, be precise. Listen carefully. This decides your future. Accusation creates war. Precision creates surrender. Quotable line. Liars fear clarity more than anger. Your emotions are the easiest place to forge a lie. Brutal claim. If someone can make you feel guilty, they can make you believe anything. Machiavellian insight. Machiavelli implies that men are moved more by fear and desire than by reason. That's not poetry, it's a manual. If someone can steer your emotion, they don't need to win the argument. Psychological truth. Guilt is a leash, and good people live on a short leash. Real life example. You confront a friend for disrespect. They say, "Wow, I've been going through a lot, but okay." Now, you're not talking about disrespect. You're managing their pain. You're proving you're not selfish. Your boundary collapses. Strategic rule. Never defend yourself against emotional accusations. Return to the behavior. Say, "We're not discussing your stress. We're discussing what you did." This is where good people lose everything. They treat guilt like a moral signal. It's often just a control signal. Quotable line. If your empathy overrides your reality, you're programmable. Type, "I don't negotiate with guilt." If you're ready to stop being trained, the best lie is a half-truth with a hostage inside it. Brutal claim. Some people don't lie to hide, they lie to bind. Machiavellian insight. Appearances are tools. Machiavelli respected the ability to mix truth and deception because it reduces suspicion. Pure lies are fragile. Mixed lies are durable. Psychological truth. A half-truth gives you something to agree with, so you feel rational, but inside it is a demand, an obligation, an outcome you're being dragged toward. Real life example. I care about you. That's why you shouldn't talk to them. I'm protecting you. That's why you need to tell me everything. I'm just being honest. That's why I can say anything I want. The truth part is the bait. The control part is the knife. Strategic rule. When someone gives you a good reason for you to lose freedom, you're looking at manipulation. Most people fail right here. They argue the reason instead of rejecting the loss. Quotable line. Control is never offered as control. It's offered as care. Comment, "I don't trade freedom for reassurance." If you're serious, if you want to detect lies, stop looking at their face. Look at what they protect. Brutal claim. Everyone protects something. The liar protects leverage. Machiavellian insight. Machiavelli would ask, what does this person gain? What are they afraid to lose? Who do they need to appear as? The prince isn't about morality, it's about incentives. Psychological truth. You catch lies by watching what gets defended too quickly, what gets reframed too smoothly, what question triggers a sudden shift in tone. Real life example. You ask, "Why did you delete the messages?" They answer, "So you don't trust me?" That's not an answer. That's a shield. They protected the meaning of their action by attacking your character. Strategic rule. Track what they refuse to name. Here's the trap nobody sees. When someone can't name something, it's because naming it removes its power. Quotable line. The truth can be named. Manipulation has to stay vague. The final level. Become the person who doesn't need proof to change access. Brutal claim. Victims need evidence. Strategists need patterns. Machiavellian insight. Machiavelli would never wait for a betrayal to become obvious. He would read the signs, assume the direction, and act before the damage becomes public, because the prince who waits for certainty dies with receipts in his hand. Psychological truth. If you require absolute proof before you set a boundary, you'll always be late. Liars count on your need to feel fair. Fairness is a beautiful idea. In power game, it's often a delay mechanism. Real life example. You feel someone's disrespect. You see small contradictions, but you tell yourself, maybe I'm overthinking, so you stay. Then one day, the betrayal becomes undeniable, and everybody says, how didn't you see it? You did see it. You just didn't think you were allowed to act on it. Strategic rule. Access is not a right. It's a privilege you control, and this is where most people destroy themselves. They think boundaries need permission. They don't. They need spine. Quotable line. You don't need certainty to protect yourself. You need standards. Climax philosophy unification. Now, you understand the game. Most people walk through life begging reality to be gentle. They think truth protects them. They think kindness earns respect. They think intentions are visible. That is why they're easy to lie to, because their worldview is built on a fantasy that people will treat them the way they deserve. Machiavelli would call that suicidal innocence. The world doesn't reward what you meant. It rewards what you allow. It rewards what you punish. It rewards what you control. The dangerously perceptive person is not the loudest, not the angriest, not the most suspicious. They're the hardest to steer. They don't chase every lie. They watch patterns. They pin details. They refuse delays. They don't negotiate with guilt. They don't trade freedom for reassurance. They don't require permission to withdraw access. And here's the part you won't like, because it changes you. Once you see manipulation clearly, you lose the comfort of pretending you didn't. From this point forward, ignorance is no longer an excuse. If you keep letting people redirect you, that's not them controlling you. That's you choosing the familiar pain of being used over the unfamiliar power of being respected. This is the difference between survivors and victims. Victims ask, is this person lying? Survivors ask, what happens if I treat this as a pattern and respond like I'm not disposable? Power respects strength, nothing else. And strength starts the moment you stop explaining what you can enforce. Type, I will not be easy to read in the comments. Make it public. Make it real. Because the version of you that stays silent is the version that stays owned. CTA match title. Exactly. If this made you uncomfortable, good. It means you're waking up. Now test your courage. For the next 7 days, practice what you just learned. Become dangerously perceptive. Detect any lie by refusing frames, demanding clarity, and removing access when patterns show. And if you felt your stomach tighten while listening, that's the part of you that knows you've been too easy to control. If you're ready to stop being predictable, interact with this video like a strategist. Comment, I see the game now, and tell me this: which principle exposed someone in your life the most?